Jair Bolsonaro, Brazil's right-wing populist candidate sometimes likened to Donald Trump, winning the presidency Sunday night in that country's most polarizing election in decades.
Bolsonaro!
Considered the frontrunner in the race, his victory marking a dramatic swing to the right in the world's fourth largest democracy. Bolsonaro's sudden rise propelled by the rejection of the leftist Workers' Party and comes in the midst of the country's worst recession and political graft scandal. Leftist rival Fernando Haddad, standing in for jailed Workers' Party founder and former Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, had been trailing Bolsonaro since the first-round vote 3 weeks ago. But polls show the gap had narrowed in recent days. Many Brazilians are concerned that Bolsonaro, a fan of the military dictatorship that ruled Brazil from the mid-1960s to the mid-80s, will trample on human rights, curtail civil liberties, and muzzle freedom of speech. Bolsonaro has already survived an attempt on his life, having been stabbed by an assailant while campaigning in September. He has vowed to crack down on crime by granting police more power to shoot at criminals. He also wants to let more Brazilians buy weapons to fight crime.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today.
Officials on Sunday identifying the 11 worshippers shot to death inside a Pittsburgh synagogue.
75-year-old Joyce Feinberg, 65-year-old Richard Gottfried,
Victims of the deadliest attack ever on American Jews. Many of the murdered were elderly and members of the tightly knit and historic Squirrel Hill Jewish community.
97-year-old Rose Mallinger of Squirrel Hill. David and Cecil Rosenthal were brothers. Bernice and Sylvan were husband and wife.
Contact! Shots fired!
A gunman stormed the Tree of Life Sanctuary on Saturday, opening fire on congregants. Prosecutors said the suspect, 46-year-old Robert Bowers, exchanged fire with cops racing toward the carnage. Bowers eventually surrendered and is currently in custody.
Our complaint charges Bowers with 29 separate federal crimes. There are 11 counts of murdering victims who are exercising their religious beliefs. There are 11 counts of using a firearm to commit murder, and each of these counts is punishable by death.
The Anti-Defamation League describing the massacre as the deadliest attack on the Jewish community in U.S. history. On Saturday night, after the end of the Jewish Sabbath, candlelight vigils across the nation to mourn the victims. In Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet observed a minute of silence. At the Vatican, Pope Francis condemned the attack. The gunman repeatedly posted anti-Semitic messages on social media, including several that mentioned the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, a Jewish refugee organization. Before Saturday's shooting, the gunman wrote that Hayes, quote, likes to bring invaders in that kill our people. I can't sit by and watch my people get slaughtered. Screw your optics. I'm going in.
During the course of his deadly assault on the people of the synagogue, Bowers made statements regarding genocide and his desire to kill Jewish people.
The White House on Sunday flying the flag at half-mast for Pittsburgh's victims. The massacre coming amid rising fears over politically and racially motivated violence in the U.S. Last week, police charged a Florida man with mailing pipe bombs to Democratic Party figures, liberal donors, and the CNN News Network. No one was injured by the explosives. Investigators said the Pittsburgh gunman appears to have acted alone, and they do not view him as a domestic terrorist. Bowers is set to be arraigned in federal court on Monday.
The 56-year-old man accused of sending parcel bombs to prominent Trump critics, top Democrats, and CNN has been charged with 5 federal crimes. Florida resident Cesar Sayoc, seen here at a 2016 Trump rally, now faces up to 48 years in prison.
We will not tolerate such lawlessness, especially not political violence.
Officials say 4 suspicious packages were found on Friday alone, bringing the total to 14. And though none of the devices exploded, FBI Director Christopher Wray said they posed a serious threat.
Though we're still analyzing the devices in our laboratory, these are not hoax devices.
Wray said agents identified Sayoc by a fingerprint on a package sent to Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Wray nor Sessions offered a motive for the crimes, but public records show Sayoc, a registered Republican in Florida, had a lengthy criminal history. And after his arrest, FBI agents hauled away this van, plastered with pro-Trump stickers, images of Democrats in crosshairs, and the slogan, CNN sucks. Authorities are still investigating whether there are other suspects in the case, and a source told Reuters they cannot rule out more arrests.
IBM announcing a $34 billion deal to buy Red Hat, a software firm specializing in open source and cloud computing. IBM for years installed mainframe servers on clients' premises, but it faces dwindling revenue as more and more firms are opting to store data on the cloud. The acquisition announced Sunday is by far IBM's biggest to date, and underscores CEO Ginny Rometty's efforts to expand the company's business away from legacy servers and position it to better compete with firms such as Amazon, Google parent Alphabet, and Microsoft in the rapidly expanding cloud space. In a statement, Rometty called the deal, quote, a game changer. IBM will become the world's #1 hybrid cloud provider. Hybrid cloud is how IBM refers to its services that combine on-premises and cloud-based computing. Red Hat was founded in 1993 and specializes in Linux operating systems. Linux is a popular type of open-sourced software meant to let clients customize the programs to their needs. Headquartered in Raleigh, North Carolina, Red Hat charges fees for customer features, maintenance, and tech support, now potentially lucrative revenue sources for IBM. IBM shares have lost almost a third of their value in the last 5 years, while Red Hat's stock has climbed 170% in the same period. The deal illustrating how older tech firms are using acquisitions to catch up with newer trends, gain scale, and fend off competition.
You're up to date. For more,